it's Elyse here at Bowman Library with a whole new middle grade book spotlight. So for this week, our talk is inspired by something with summer reading. Now, before we get into it, a couple quick things. In case you didn't know, summer reading has launched. Our theme for this year is Adventures Begin at Your Library. So you can either come on down to the library, we can get you signed up, you can sign up at home through the library website at hanleyregional.org, and then you can start tracking your reading, earning badges through reading by attending programs, all different things, earning those tickets to enter for prizes. And so that leads me to talking about what we're doing here today for our theme, because there is a reading challenge badge that we have set up that is hashtag youth staff picks. And what we've done this year is, as a department, we have tagged some of our favorite middle grade reads. You get to pick one, track what you read, get the badge, get the ticket, okay? But to help you out, our book talk spotlight for this month is some of our staff picks, okay? So hopefully you leave with one here that maybe you're inspired to try, okay? So we have 6 amazing ones. I promise you, they're all good, okay? To help you out with that staff pick badge. So let's get going. Our first one is by one of my favorite middle grade authors, Erin Entrada Kelly. So I will tell you this, anything by Erin Entrada Kelly is amazing, but I especially love We Dream of Space, okay? So it's winter 1986, and siblings Cash, Fitch, and Bird are all anticipating the launch of the Challenger space shuttle. They are all in the same 7th grade science class, but each are dealing with their own problems and struggles, especially Bird, who is Fitch's twin sister, as she tries to hold their family together as they are struggling with some family issues. The science teacher, Miss Salonga, she gives the class a project. She breaks them into spacecraft crews, and they must create and complete a mission together. When that fateful day arrives in February for the launch, the events of that day completely change everyone's lives, and the siblings must come together to support one another in ways they never even imagined doing before. This is an amazing historical fiction book that highlights the importance of family, relationships with siblings, and how just because you're family doesn't mean you still can't be friends as well. This is We Dream of Space. Okay, next one. This is Born to Fly, okay? And one of the things, first off, it's by Steve Sheinkin, who, if you've watched enough of these, you know I love Steve Sheinkin. There's nothing he can do that's wrong, okay? But one thing I love about this one by him is I literally knew nothing about any of this. And if you watched enough of these, first off, you know I love nonfiction, and then you know I love nonfiction that explores topics and times and people and whatever in our history that they don't get the time and respect they deserve. And this is one of these, okay? So I knew nothing about this. You probably don't know either, okay? So in 1929, there was this event called the Women's Air Derby, okay? And what they did was they took 20 female pilots, okay? And again, look at this, wait, there were 20 female pilots in this derby. I bet the only one I could name was Amelia Earhart. So right there's already way more stuff going on, and they need to get the credit they deserve. Okay, so there were 20 female pilots, and they competed against one another in order to see who was the best pilot at the time. Now, they came from all walks of life. You know, some were well-known, like Amelia Earhart was in this air derby, okay? But everyone else was just as good as she was. They just don't get the name, okay? This book will introduce you to all of the competitors as well as the event itself, what took place during it, including one of them, one person died each day to the nature of the event in this competition, okay? You will not want to put this one down. It totally doesn't disappoint. It will make you appreciate the steps these women took at the time when it wasn't necessarily supported like it is today. They were trailblazers in their own right, and again, we need to celebrate them and learn about them. This is Born to Fly. Okay, one of my all-time favorites, I had to print it, okay? Place a hold if you want one, because all of our copies in this whole library system are out. That's how good this book is. This is Bridge to Terabithia. This is a classic right here, okay? The premise is kind of simple. You know, there's some friendship, there's some fantasy. So we meet Jess. Jess practices all summer before 5th grade to be the fastest runner in his entire grade when school starts. So when school starts and it is 5th grade, they set up for, the first recess, the first race. He knows he's gonna win it, and then what happens? He is beaten by a new girl whose name is Leslie, okay? At first, he doesn't like Leslie, okay? This girl beat him when he tried so hard all summer to be the fastest runner. But soon, they start spending time together and they become best of friends, okay? They spend their time in the woods that's behind Leslie's house, and they find themselves creating their own made-up land called Terabithia. They grow together, they learn about each other, they're going each through some family things, but one day a horrible tragedy occurs which changes everything, and Jess learns that you receive strength and courage through your friendships. It's a must read, okay? They made it into a movie years ago. Even if you've watched the movie, you need to read the book. It is a must read, an incredible story. Get the box of tissues ready. I can guarantee you that one too. This is Bridge to Terabithia. Okay, another nonfiction, which is adventure crazy filled, okay? This is Race to the Bottom of the Earth, okay? Now, what's cool about this one, and I will preface with this, it's cool, but it takes a little bit of some time to get used to this setup. It is told in parallel chapters, okay? So chapter 1 is about one person, chapter 2 is about the second person, chapter 1 is about the first person, that type of deal, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's told in parallel chapters, and it explores 2 separate individual races revolving around Antarctica. The first one is set in 1911, and it was the race to be the first person to the South Pole. This other race is in 2018, so over 100 years later, and it's the race to be the first person, the first individual to cross the entire continent by themselves, okay? So this book takes a look at the preparation and the training that went into both races and events, as well as the equipment which was available and used at their times, and then into the actual adventure and journeys all of these individuals faced, okay, complete with some people not making it to the end as they face horrible weather, supply issues, physical and mental hardships. And it's crazy to read how even though it's over 100 years apart, some of the stuff is so different, but then some of the things and struggles they had were exactly the same. It's incredible to look at the stamina that it took both of them, but the continent still remained, the obstacles were still there. I loved this thrilling, true life adventure, almost survival-esque story. You will find yourselves turning the page to read what happens if they were successful, because again, these were attempts, okay? No one had ever done this before. They were trying to be the first in their own respective races. Incredible read. This is Race to the Bottom of the Earth. Okay, Small Spaces. If you're like me, you're not really a horror read. I have been trying, okay? And there is some good horror out there, okay? I will tell you, I don't do bloody horror, so you're guaranteed on this one, okay? But Small Spaces, pretty good. And what I love about Small Spaces, too, is once you get hooked on this one, it's the first out of 4 books, okay? So if you're looking for a good horror read for this summer, get through this one, you get 3 others, okay? So Ollie's had a bit of a rough time lately. Her mother has passed away, and she and her father have been coping the best they can. And one of the things Ollie finds solace in is in reading. One day when she's walking home, she comes across this older woman who is at the river, and it's at the river she's trying to throw this book into it. Not wanting the book to get ruined, Ollie steals it from this older woman and she runs off. Wanting to know what the big deal is, okay, about why this woman's trying to throw a book in the river, she reads the story for herself. And it's about this family who is living on a farm, and they find themselves in trouble. And they make a promise with, quote, the smiling man, which just make things creepy worse, okay? The next day, Ollie's class, they're on a field trip to a farm, and when the bus stalls in a huge patch of fog, Ollie knows that this is not going to end well, and soon enough, she and her new friends find themselves dealing with The Smiling Man. This creepy story will keep you on edge of your seat. It will have you turning the page as fast as you can. You'll be right there with Ollie, not knowing what's going to happen next. Again, it's the first of 4 books. Yeah, we have all of them. You're going to want all of them, okay? This is Small Spaces. And our last one is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. Okay, so Coyote has not always lived on a bus, okay, with her father crisscrossing the United States, but she has for the past 5 years, since the death of her mother and 2 sisters in a car accident. Now she is 12 years old and still not wanting to face the grief of their losses. The only place they will not go to is their hometown. That is until Coyote finds out that a park there in their hometown is going to be demolished. And it's at this park that there is a memory box that's been buried there by her mother. And she has to go and she has to find this box and she has to save it. Her father will not agree to this, okay? She already knows that, so Coyote decides that she's going to come up with a scheme that will get her there, and it will take a motley crew of travelers she finds along the way to help her out. This is all about coming to terms with events in life, coping with grief, exploring friendships, going on an epic road trip that will have you cheering Coyote on every step of the way. This incredible story is told in such a way that anyone can relate to. This is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. So these are just 6 of our staff picks that we have here at the library. We do have tons of others, so you can search it on the Handley Regional Catalog, or we do have a display set up to help you out so you can get that youth staff pick badge in the ticket to enter in for those prizes, okay? So make sure you sign up for summer reading. Come on out. We'll help you out. You can do it at home through the Handley Library website. You can do it here, okay? We are here to help you to have a great summer reading program. I hope you have an incredible week, and I hope you tune back next time for a whole new middle grade book spotlight.